Hey everybody, this is Susan Kohanik again. I have shared two videos with you so far. The first video I talked about Padlet, the second video I talked about Socrative or Socrative, and I'm trying to focus my mini tutorial videos on how these different technology tools can help support assessment, differentiation, and the 4Cs: creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking in your classroom. I teach American literature, so I teach juniors in high school, but I do think that all of these tools are beneficial for elementary, middle, and high school, depending on your technology tools that you already have available, whether you're one-to-one. My school, we actually have one-to-one laptops. So it's easy for me to figure out ways to find tools that will support different aspects of teaching and learning. This particular video, I want to talk about the website backchannelchat.com. So if you go literally to backchannelchat.com, and you can log in. So I was having some trouble with my login, and I was able to get my password reset. So let's hope that it works. If it were not to work, I actually can go to another tab and sort of circumvent the process. Everything's moving a little slow today. So while this screen's just kind of working, but I can show you what the login screen looks like. Okay, there we go. So I'm in, and you can see that I have used Backchannel chat before. And I have actually created lots of these back channels. Now, in order to do what I have done, I did actually subscribe. So the cost is really minimal. I mean, even for a teacher, it's $15 a year. And for $15 a year, you get so much creativity and flexibility in how you actually use this particular tool. I use this to primarily support communication and collaboration, but it also allows me to differentiate process for students, and I'll explain that in a minute. It also allows me to run some informal formative assessments to see which kids are sort of getting it, which kids are not getting it, that sort of thing. One really cool benefit that I have discovered for using Backchannel chat is I have one class period that absolutely won't talk. And even though they're hesitant to verbalize discussions in the classroom, this actually allows them a method for silent discussion. So if you have that type of class, you might have a lot of fun sort of experimenting with what Backchannel chat can offer. So we'll just kind of start from scratch. You would actually just, in your account, you'd create a new back channel. My display name is just going to be my regular name. My back channel is going to be called, let's just call it technology. Oops, sorry. So that's Susan, and then we'll just call it technology tools. And we click start. And this room is now created. So you have so much capability within this. So the first thing is, if you're doing this in a classroom and you need your students to have access, you would go ahead and create these before the students came in, and then you would share the links for the kids to click on to get into your back channel. As you can tell from your screen, and what's really nice is it gives you this instructions right here, but it'll show you who's online. It'll show you that the person online, as for me, is a teacher. Red indicates the user is in read-only mode. So I actually have, just as an example, if I had a student who was making comments that were distracting, I can actually mute that particular student. I can remove certain comments. I can just do all kinds of things. I can moderate every single message, which would get a bit overwhelming. So what's really cool is if I had kids over here, let's say I had somebody named John, I'd be like, John, what do you think of, what do you think of so-and-so's, blah, 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 question mark. And I would put that in. And then John over here would see this pop up, and then he would be able to respond. So, but again, it's just super cool because you can have all these kids in this one room. And if you decide to upgrade, like I did, then you can get multiple chat rooms going sort of simultaneously. So I wanted to get back, and it's spinning kind of slowly, so I apologize for that. I think I can actually just go back to this tab, but it pulled it up right here. Okay, so the other thing is if you don't even want to bother with giving your kids the actual link, you can just give them the code. They would go to backchannelchat.com. There's on the very first screen, there's a place where they put in the code, and then they're in, and you're good to go. So this one was just for sample, so I can quickly delete it. That's not really doing me, any good right now, but I can also show you how I use this. So I like to do Socratic circles, with my students, and my classes run 22 to 24 students. So I tend to do the inner circle, outer circle. And what happens is the kids in the outer circle tend to get a little bored. And it's hard for them to sort of, pay attention without something concrete to really seize on. So I decided to try this. So I divided my sixth period, all my class periods really, into two groups. So when my sixth period divided up, we had our first inner circle and our first outer circle. So the first inner circle, they were discussing transcendentalism, but I wanted the outer circle kids to be involved. So I created this chat room. I had them all go into it. We sort of set it up and organized it prior to the Socratic seminar. And as you can see, I still have the transcripts from these chats. So the students were commenting on the conversation that the first inner circle was having. And they could comment on process, they could comment on content, they could comment on, I want to talk about that when it's our turn to be in the inner circle. And also if I saw, and then they could oh, this is really cool. So they can share links like, hey, here's proof of, what I wanted to talk about. And then you can see where they can like each other's comments. So it's really cool. And I'm moderating it the entire time. It's not that distracting for me. I did have a few of the kids who said it was a little distracting for them, that they weren't able to concentrate on the inner circle because of the conversation in the outer circle. So that's something that we just kind of have to polish and smooth over time. And I didn't really participate in this particular group, but I noticed if there were particular kids not participating, then I could jump in and say something. I could do a quick poll. Hey, what do you think about blah, blah, blah? And they would be able to do that. And that might be a more controlled way to help them not be as distracted by what's going on in their particular chat. I had a foreign language teacher, a Chinese teacher, who wanted a particular tool that would help her facilitate conversations in Chinese with her students. And I suggested Backchannel chat, that if she paid the $15, she could have unlimited chat rooms that she could monitor, and then the kids could practice their Chinese communication, written communication in their particular chat room. Very non-threatening. So that would also work with English language learners. And it's just a really great tool for having kids engaged who might not otherwise normally be engaged. So definitely, I feel like there's differentiation, collaboration, and communication. But I do think there's critical thinking going on as well, because they have to support what they're saying when their fellow classmates ask. So Backchannel has lots of resources. It describes what Backchannel is. It tells you how it's integrated with Edmodo and Schoology. I don't use either one of those, so I just use it as a separate tool. It has a profanity filter. The kids know how to get past that, just so you know. And you can have all these choices about different things that you can do to control the chat or to not control the chat. So it's a really neat website. And I enjoy it, and I can't wait to use it again. And I can just see that it's got lots of applications for getting kids involved. So I hope you learned about a new tool from this particular video, and I will see you next time.